So I've been wanting to make a video about Etsy for a while, but I was kind of biding my time, gathering my thoughts, doing my research when Etsy made this thread. And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to say my piece now. But before that, welcome to the Faded Wildflower Crochet. My name is Rachel. If you don't know me, I make crochet content here on YouTube. And I've also had an Etsy shop since 2012. So I've been at this for a while, and I've seen Etsy go through so many changes over the years. A little disclaimer before we get started. I really don't want this video just to be a whole bash session on Etsy. If you've been watching my content, then you know that whether it be a crochet kit or a crochet mystery series, I give my honest opinions, but I really talk about the ways that I think that they can improve. And this video is no different, even though it's definitely going to be a video talking about some really valid criticism of the direction that Etsy has gone in. So Etsy has recently adopted the strategy of posting on social media in a cute, relatable, quirky kind of way. A lot of brands do this. I find it cringy most of the time, and I just feel like it's overdone at this point. But let's read a few of Etsy's recent posts without dying of secondhand embarrassment. I'm blaming my unfinished DIYs on the full moon. I said, let me cook, with the picture of a hot glue gun. I know a scented candle and a chunky blanket. Hate to see me coming. This gives you kind of an idea of the stuff that they post on their social media, at least what they post on Threads. I don't touch the platform formerly known as Twitter with a 10-foot pole, so I don't know if they post this way on there as well, but I'm specifically talking about Threads. Now, it's not a crime to be a cringy brand on social media, even though maybe it should be. Jail. Jail for all of you. The post that I referenced in the beginning is this one, and it says, there's a difference between handmade and homemade. We're just saying. And they got ratioed. Is that still a thing that people say? I don't know. But they got a lot of negative comments. In fact, I was scrolling and I didn't see one positive comment under this post. So let's read a few of them. Is that why you have allowed drop shipping of items that are neither handmade nor homemade to take over your platform? Bruh, you're one to talk. You've become an expensive AliExpress. Etsy, I don't think you realize how many people are mad at y'all. And then this comment is a little bit long, but it really outlines everything that I want to talk about in today's video. Every comment on here rings true. The top sellers in my category joined a couple years ago and have 3 million plus sales of items no one person could physically make by hand in that length of time. They list no production partners and undercut all of the small handmade shops. Meanwhile, you're banning honest sellers right and left, using AI, and offer no human support. You don't need a multi-million-dollar ad campaign or cheap shipping. You need to decide if you still value handmade. Couldn't have said it better myself. All right, my dog Lily wants to say hi, and I don't think you can see her, but I'll put a clip of her. Okay, honey. Do you have things to say about Etsy? This comment section, as well as just Threads in general, is full of complaints about things that Etsy needs to improve. And instead of addressing any of those, they just continue to post these quirky, cute, relatable posts. Now, I understand that negativity spreads faster than positivity. I'm not naive enough to not understand that. So maybe me seeing these negative posts are just because that's what gets boosted in the algorithm. I know. But I remember a time when people had mostly good things to say about Etsy. I had mostly good things to say about Etsy. I remember when they followed me on Instagram, which, yes, they still follow me. Maybe not after today's video. I was just so excited, and I posted a story slide talking about how I was just so happy a place like Etsy existed where handmade artists like me could sell their stuff. And somewhere along the line, things devolved. Now, originally, I wanted this video to be a timeline of what went wrong and, which CEO is to blame. But when I was doing research for this video, I actually saw that the creator Luke Kono has a really great video talking about just that, the outline of where things went wrong and talking about how really it was greed that was the downfall of Etsy, or continues to be the downfall of Etsy. So I will link his video down below. I really appreciated it because he is an Etsy buyer. So his perspective comes from that side of things, whereas I'm primarily an Etsy seller, although I do buy on Etsy as well. So my perspective is coming from that side of the coin. So a while ago, when I first decided I wanted to make this video, I made a post on Threads asking Etsy sellers the ways that they would like to see Etsy improve. So we're going to be kind of talking about the most popular of those answers, but by no means is this an exhaustive list. So if you have other things that you are frustrated about with Etsy, then please leave them in the comments. By far, the biggest thing that I hear people complain about is that drop shippers and resellers have now taken over the platform. Back in the day, Etsy used to be a place where you could sell handmade or vintage items only. And then they started to allow people to work with a manufacturer to produce their items as long as they were the ones to design it. Cut to now, and the platform is absolutely overrun by things from AliExpress and Shein. I just combined Shein and Temu. Shein and Temu. And it's honestly just a nightmare for both buyers and sellers. And like I said, their social media is absolutely overrun by people complaining about this. You see posts about it on Reddit all of the time about both buyers and sellers complaining about this problem. And I just don't feel like Etsy is doing enough to mitigate this. I know that this is basically a game of whack-a-mole for them at this point, but I just wish that they were doing more to eliminate this problem, to make it a better place. We're losing buyers because people don't want to shop on Etsy anymore because they can't trust that the item that they ordered didn't just come from AliExpress. I was talking to my sister-in-law just the other day, and she thought she was ordering an item from Texas and then it came from a different country. This problem is just so rampant on the platform at this point. If I'm being honest, I have to assume that the reason that they're not doing more to take care of this problem is because of greed. More items being listed means more listing fees that go straight to Etsy's pockets. More items being sold means more fees that are going straight to Etsy's pocket. This was the main point that Lou Kona was making in his video, is that the downfall of Etsy is due to greed, and I have to agree. So let's talk about fees for a minute. I'm not going to get into the minutia of how much each fee is and whether or not I feel like that's worth it. A lot of people do complain about this, but the fact of the matter is having your own website is expensive, and then you have to drive your own traffic. In theory, having a shop on Etsy where they already have built-in traffic, you would think that these listing fees would be worth it. However, fees have increased a lot over time with really not a lot of payoff to us sellers, if I'm being honest. Comment on my thread post talked about how they use our fees to pay their multi-million-dollar marketing budget, which is true. This last Super Bowl, I don't know what Super Bowl number that was because I'm not a big sports girl, but Etsy had a Super Bowl ad in the last Super Bowl, and they were so hyped about it. It was all about their gift mode, which was this AI feature where it could tell you the perfect gift for the perfect person. But now the gift mode that they were advertising and hyping up so much appears to be gone. At least I don't see it. Where it used to say gift mode, it now just says gifts, and you can click on that and see different categories of gifts, but there's no AI, no search feature. And I try to figure out what happened, what went wrong. I haven't seen any posts from Etsy about them backing up on this feature, but I have to assume that they maybe got rid of it due to backlash. I'm not really sure. If you know what happened, please let me know. But honestly, the way that I felt about gift mode when it was first announced was that they're trying to do all of these like cool, flashy things to make it look like they're doing things to improve their platform without actually doing anything to improve their platform. And I know that's cynical, but that's the way I feel about it. As one individual seller and a sea of millions, I can't tell Etsy what to do with the money that I give them. But I would just hope that they would improve their platform, actually improve it, instead of just spending more money on marketing to get more eyes on their platform. That's just my opinion. Another hot button issue right now is AI. If you search on YouTube right now, you will find people giving tutorials of how to make and sell AI-generated art on Etsy. This maybe goes without saying, but if you're doing this or you're teaching other people how to do this, stop it, please. It's icky and weird. I've even seen this in my own niche of crochet with AI-generated crochet patterns being sold where you buy this pattern and it just doesn't even make any sense. or people are using an AI generated image as the first photo, and then you click through and that's not what it actually looks like, which again, just feels so icky and weird to me. And again, I know that this is a game of whack-a-mole for Etsy to be able to get rid of all of this, but it really is just making it harder for real artists to be able to be seen. And because they're putting less effort in, they can charge less. And people are people. They're going to pick the cheaper option most of the time. And sometimes they may not even know that the watercolor painting that they got was actually AI generated. And it's just so unfortunate. And I really just wish Etsy would do more to take care of this problem. So another problem that a lot of people have with Etsy is their customer support. I have actually had some interesting experiences with this myself. I will get on to their little chat feature and no one will respond. This has happened to me multiple times. Now, compare this to the fact that Etsy wants us sellers to respond to our buyers right away, or else we lose our star seller badge, which I don't even know if that means anything anymore. But it just seems like they're not living up to the standards that they want to place on us. On top of that, I have heard from people that they've had their shops taken down with little to no explanation as to why. I don't have any receipts to back this up, but as many people are saying it, I figure that there's at least some truth to it. There was an issue recently where an Etsy seller was making these absolutely adorable little ghost earrings, and then they had their picture stolen by Shein. And then Shein filed a copyright notice to have their original item taken down. And Etsy took that listing down. Now, it does seem like this issue was eventually taken care of, but they had to go to social media in order to get Etsy to listen. And then they missed out on a week of sales during their, highest selling time for ghost earrings, which is just so unfortunate. I just feel like it shouldn't be that hard to have these types of issues resolved. Now, I know that copyright is a huge issue on Etsy. I made a whole video about that. But I feel like it should not be this easy for companies like Shein and Temu to file false copyright strikes against small businesses. And it just seems like Etsy wants to side with the big business instead of siding with their own sellers. And that is, again, just so unfortunate. These are just a few of the things that I really hope that Etsy can improve in the future. And someone might watch this video and be like, well, if you don't like it, then you can leave. But whether or not we want to admit it, Etsy still is the biggest and best platform for handmade sellers. I really just hope that they can return to being a great platform like it used to be. And I hope that they can start making decisions for their buyers and their sellers instead of just worrying about making bigger profits so that they can please their shareholders and investors. Etsy has this catchphrase that is, keep commerce human. And that's what I want more than anything. I want less bots, less AI, less drop shippers, less treating us sellers like we're robots that have to respond to every single message right away while not keeping that same energy for yourself. I want to see more actual human handmade arts and designs and crafts. That is what I want to see from Etsy. And it's still there. Sellers like me are still on the platform. I just wish it wasn't so hard to find us. You have to let me know what you thought about today's video. I know it was a little different than normal, but I just really had some things I wanted to say. And will Etsy listen? I don't know, probably not, but I feel better having talked about it. And I hope that if you have things to say, other things to add to this conversation, that you'll leave them in the comments down below. If you did like today's video, be sure to hit the like button. You can subscribe, stick around, let me know what other kind of videos you want to see next. You can follow me on Instagram. You can check out my Etsy shop where an actual real life human made these items. You can join my Patreon where I make bonus videos as well as exclusive patterns. And thank you again for watching. I'll see you next time.